with phones nowadays, there's no opportunity to just feel bored and to just be alone with your thoughts anymore. For me, the main thing is when I open an app, I'm not intending to waste time, but the very nature of these apps are just distracting. Like even 20 years ago, for those things you have to physically kind of maybe make an effort to waste time, whereas nowadays you have to make an effort to not waste time. Yeah, default is kind of like you have everything in the palm of your hand, and default is just scrolling. Whereas, yeah, it used to be the other way around. Like, yeah, there's so many. You got to piece together so many different technologies to reach a state that should ideally be the default. You got to have a Chrome extension, a Windows program, an Android app, a launcher, just to use technology the way it should be used. And yeah, frustrating.
It's basically like becoming clear, like another way that we could express this, which is basically like, you had like the platforms, and then they added a layer of like this addictiveness and attention grabbing to it.
Yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of the solutions right now are just a layer on top of that.
On top of that, yeah.
We're just kind of like, wait, hold on a minute. Should the solution just be to go back to the way that second layer?
Yep.
I love what you said about like, hey, you go to YouTube and you just want to search more. Like that's right. Exactly the kind of experience that we want to create for our apps, where it's like we want essentially like, if you have a specific purpose that you want to do with the app should get the hell out of your way. Just like off the shelf, intention first designed version of the application. I think one of our core hypotheses is that people are capable of managing themselves and want to manage themselves. The thing is, we just need to get the technology out of the way. We assert that the problem is not the person. We assert that the problem is the platform. What are your thoughts around the idea of a finite feed? The idea of a feed that isn't endless, but a feed that literally just has like a couple pieces of content and ends.
That's a very interesting idea, because if you set it to like 10 posts, 20 posts, 30 posts, then it just ends until your next session or something like that.
Not only do we want to give people tools to think about this, like literally just like mental frameworks, we want to, like you said, we want to make it easy. So hopefully like we can be like the de facto thing that like in like, 5-10 years, if we could like literally like create the launcher that like does everything, or almost
like a whole operating system.
Yeah, like a modified Android operating system.
Yeah.
Even like a Windows extension that kind of like at the core of it kind of like does all this stuff for you. One of the things that excites me about AI is that like I feel like technology can suddenly has the capacity to be kind. I know that sounds weird, but like it's suddenly like technology can meet humans where they are instead of like people meeting technology where it's at. And like I think funnily enough, like ChatGPT is already kind of like an intention first interface, which is I think a hidden reason why a lot of people love ChatGPT that they probably don't realize. Kind of because it's the new era, right? They haven't had time to put in all the distractions yet. Like unfortunately, I know that like 5 years from now, there's gonna be like probably like some like ChatGPT is gonna try to suck you in. It's gonna. Thanks for jumping on the call. I know it's super random. Like you probably just saw our website and
right. I actually saw it on, I think it was an Instagram ad. And there's so many of these, and I always click learn more, but I don't actually do anything with it. Because this was very intriguing, because there's really nothing on the website except kind of like a mini manifesto. So I was quite intrigued. So I signed up and then saw your email.
We got you in with the curiosity.
Yeah.
Cool. So I mean, we were running 2 ads. One of them said like, stop scrolling your life away, just like an all black text. And then one of them said, make America bored again. We're big into boredom. Do you remember which one?
Oh, that's the one. It was MABA. It was make America bored again.
Dude, yeah. That's amazing. Well, I'm actually this is just me doing like little research right now, but like what were the thoughts going through your head when you like saw that? I mean, like it's pretty off the wall.
Well, actually, when I first saw that, I think what was going through my head is what you folks were intending, is that with phones nowadays, there's no opportunity to just feel bored and to just be alone with your thoughts anymore. And so I thought that's where you guys were going. So I clicked on it, and then it was about distractions and, social media and stuff. So I'd say the marketing has been quite on point.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, yeah, like I said, I really wanted to just get on the call because like we literally just started this a couple of weeks ago. It's like me and a couple of friends. We're just
Okay.
like we've both worked we've all worked in tech for a while, and we're just like I don't know, we just feel like we just honestly feel like, there's this growing sentiment amongst a lot of people that, like it's just like the modern day world has just become like way too overwhelming. Like people just feel
Yeah.
like they're overloaded with information. Like you said, they just don't have time to breathe. They don't have like a sense of peace
Hmm.
or even like a sense of like a lot of people I feel like don't even have a sense of like control or agency over their own life because they just feel so inundated with everything,
Yeah.
right? So we just thought this was an important mission. So basically, just like we left our jobs and we're doing this. We're trying to get
Wow.
this off the
Okay.
ground.
Full time. Yeah.
And so yeah. I guess what's your relationship with technology? Obviously, you're doing computer science, but like, are you on social media?
Right.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. So the main social media that I use would probably be Instagram. Keep in touch with friends. Maybe like view their stories once in a while. Check the feed. Um, I'm very. I have. I've blocked Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Those. I mean, man, they just take away my time like nothing else. As is true for many other people. That's one of
Nice.
my main weaknesses.
And how did you block them? I'm curious.
So there's a few cool things on it. So I have an Android. I have a Pixel 8,
Nice. I
and
have an Android as well, so
oh, nice. Okay,
yeah,
that's
I'm
I
on the
gotta say,
Pixel
it's
7.
surprising.
So yeah.
Awesome.
You
Um,
Android guys got to stick together, right?
yeah, for sure. So on Android, there's this app called ScreenZen. I'm not sure if
Okay.
you've heard of it.
I have, yeah.
It's yeah. So it basically does a bunch of things like time tracking, timers, blocking, those kinds of things. And one of its features is um, blocking certain sections within apps. So shorts within YouTube and reels within Instagram. Um,
Wait, hold on a minute. I did not know it could do that. Is that within the app, or is that on like if you have to use the web version, or like how does that work?
oh no, it's within the Android app. Let me check if it screens and or it was another one. It's a really cool feature because oh no, I think it's an app called Block P.
P, like the letter P?
Yeah, block and then a letter P. I think it's more geared towards adult content blocking, but
Gotcha. I think that makes sense.
yeah, the feature that I mainly use is blocking the reels and shorts. It's really cool because if you go to YouTube, the app works as normal. You click on a short, and then it just kind of shows a blocking page and forces you to go back.
Hmm, that's cool because that's kind of the angle that we're trying to take, and I
Uh
haven't
huh.
heard of many people like taking this angle. I feel like most of the things I've seen are like screen time analytics, like how long, like telling you how
Right.
long you used your device, or like trying to lock the app away for like a certain amount
Right.
of time.
Exactly.
But yeah, I haven't seen too many people take the approach that, which is also the approach we're trying to take, is actually trying to modify the internals of the apps. Um,
That's what I felt works best. Is because back in school, like 2018, 2019, my main time waste used to be just YouTube.com. Obviously, there was no shorts back then.
yeah,
So I would just open it up and see a bunch of videos on the homepage, get distracted, scroll, blah, 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 2, 3 hours. So back then, my solution was kind of like a cold turkey block. Just block YouTube, started with a Chrome extension, then moved to a program because that was too easy to bypass. So that was kind of like a 0 or 1. I can use it or I can't use it. There was no scope for I need it for something productive and I can get distracted. So that felt kind of restrictive. And then there's just so many apps, on the App Store, Play Store that are distraction focused. And so the main ones I use are definitely blocking these sections within apps. I've seen a few Chrome extensions that do it as well, and that I actually use that they, in fact, for YouTube, there's this Chrome extension called Unhook,
yeah,
which basically I think it does a bunch of CSS injection to hide distracting material. So you could disable the homepage, you could disable recommended videos, disable the sidebar, comments, all those kinds of things. And so that's always on for me. So when I go to YouTube, I literally see nothing else except a search bar. So that kind
that's
of tells
amazing.
me, yeah,
Yeah,
you're here for a purpose. go do that purpose and then get out of here. Don't keep scrolling through like recommended videos.
Taking the words right out of my mouth about what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So on hook is one, and then screens in. I give myself like when I open YouTube, it counts down from 10 seconds. Do you really want to use this app? Kind of like 1 sec. I'm sure you've heard of the app. Just a similar thing, kind of taking a deep breath. It's called 1 sec, like 1 second, 1 sec.
I actually haven't heard of that. No.
It's very popular on iOS. It recently came to Android. It's very expensive, but you can use it for like one website or one app, and it works pretty well for that. For me, the main thing is when I open an app, I'm not intending to waste time, but the very nature of these apps are just distracting. Even LinkedIn, for example, which...
Dude, I hate LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I think it's the worst, actually, because it's so antithetical to what it's supposed to be, I feel like. So.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I'm in that situation where I have to use it a lot nowadays, networking and job searching, right? Yeah. And then like that feed is just, it's tailored to your interest. So it's all about some engineer talking about AI, good AI, bad AI. And most of the times it's not exactly very smart things, but it's just, it draws you in.
It's probably written by AI, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's the worst. I've made a few comments where, I mean, it's not this, it's that. It's so obviously ChatGPT. It's frustrating. But like if I open LinkedIn to send someone a message and then I just click on the homepage, like I'll scroll for like 20 minutes. So what I needed and what I need and what I've been looking for is an app that kind of lets me open these apps, but then checks in after like, say, a certain amount of time, 5 minutes, saying, do you still need this? Maybe wait 10 seconds so I can think about it and then go back with the timer. Anyway, I've been speaking a lot, so tell me what you guys are. Yeah.
I actually want to dig into kind of what you just said, like, what you're looking for is an app that like checks in with you like after 5 minutes. So I guess I want to compare and contrast two approaches. Like one is like the kind of check-in timer, and the other is kind of like what we were talking about, where it kind of just like blocks certain sections. So for example, let's talk about LinkedIn. Like, would your ideal LinkedIn experience be a timer on the feed, or would it just be to hide the feed entirely?
I would say for LinkedIn, it would be a timer, because I do sometimes find value in some of the posts on the homepage, but it's not something that I want to spend 30 minutes on without realizing.
As opposed to a timer, what are your thoughts around the idea of a finite feed? Like the idea of a feed that isn't endless, but a feed that literally just has like a couple pieces of content and ends.
That's really interesting. It's been so long since we had like pages.
It's like a foreign concept. It's like, what? The feed that ends. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I think Reddit one of the first people to introduce what they call it, like the infinite scroll, maybe a few years ago.
But it's everywhere now, right?
I think even Google, it doesn't have the pages anymore, right? It's just it keeps generating, maybe on phone.
Yeah, like on mobile, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting idea, because if you set it to like 10 posts, 20 posts, 30 posts, and then it just ends until your next session or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's honestly, that's kind of basically what we're trying to do, essentially.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is essentially, I feel like there's a lot of there's like Chrome extensions, there's like these, these app, like screen time apps, Screen Zen, like Block P and all this stuff that do these things like kind of piecemeal.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels very like, it certainly doesn't feel very easy. It feels like somebody has to put a lot of effort into
lots of my day goes into just configuring these things for ultimate blocking. Yeah.
So I think what we're really trying to do is we're just trying to, because honestly, I think one of the problems in modern day life is not just information overload. I feel like it's also choice overload. Like there's too many choices. Like we kind of want to just deliver people an experience that's kind of like just, it's like plug and play. You just like take it off the shelf and it just does what you want it to do.
Okay.
So in some sense, make it like less configurable, but hopefully just like something that's just a better experience for most people.
Okay.
And the idea is, I think at first, like we wanted to go into each app and kind of do it like by app basis. So essentially, we're talking about LinkedIn. Like, imagine there was like an unLinkedIn that you could download, and it was
Uh-huh.
just like literally just allowed you to access LinkedIn, but
Yeah.
it had some things like finite curated feed that's just like
Nice.
most
Yeah.
relevant things to you, and it ends. And then like all the apps are redesigned to essentially try to minimize the amount of time you spend on it rather than
Hmm.
maximize, and really lead with intention. So like I love what you said about like, hey, you go to YouTube and you just want a search bar. Like that's
Right.
exactly the kind of experience that we want to create for our apps, where it's like we want essentially like if you have a specific purpose that you want to do on
Yes.
the app should get the hell out of your way. Like it's
Exactly,
just
right?
exactly. It's
Definitely.
like
Yeah.
imagine like you open LinkedIn and it's like there's only three options. One of them is like check my feed. So
Hmm.
like until you click on that,
It may be like three big buttons or something like that. Not
what's
a
that?
maybe like three big buttons: send
Yeah,
message, check feed, check network, something like that.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. But
that's
like kind
pretty
of like
interesting.
hiding that away until you want it.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, you if you would check the feed, it would just be the curated feed, right? The limited feed. And then even honestly, even within messages, um, this sounds kind of silly, but like I feel like even messages is just like the more I've been thinking about this, like I literally
Uh-huh.
personally find it offensive the way that phones display things. Now that I've been thinking about it a lot, like I find it
It's
like
all there to capture as much time as possible.
but and even things that aren't designed to capture time, I feel like just the way that we've been thinking about messages is not designed for how humans actually like consume things. So, for example, like if you open a messaging app, like whether it's text messages or LinkedIn, Facebook Messenger, it basically just display your email. It displays like all of these messages, like just like right one after another, and so
Right.
you're immediately hit with like, oh, I have like five unread messages from like 10 different people. And it's like essentially you have like 20 perpendicular conversations that are
Right.
just being shoved like right next to each other. So I almost feel like let's say your goal of going into LinkedIn was just oh, for me, this happens all the time. Like, I know I have to meet with somebody, so it's like, hey, I want to go in and just check this one specific message from that one person and
Right.
send them a note, say like, hey, I might be like 5 minutes late or something, or like,
Right.
so like we even want like so one of the options would be like check feed. One of the options could be like jump to a specific conversation. So you
Mm.
literally you can go to a specific conversation and not have to intercept anything. And then like another could be like actually check your full messages.
Yeah.
So it's like really like going like all the way into like hey, kind of like just like off the shelf intention first
Yes.
designed version of the application.
That definitely sounds like a great idea. I I'm curious, how would this work from a like a legal standpoint? Would you be able? Is there like an API you can get access to, or would it be an unofficial, like a
Sure.
LinkedIn client or something like that?
And I think this is probably one of the reasons why one of the big reasons I think that nobody's really done this exact approach before, because I think obviously the platforms don't want you to do this, like
Yeah.
like Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean legally, I feel like it's kind of like a gray area.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the approach that we've thought with this company is that like we're kind of willing to go into that gray area.
Uh huh.
And it's like so like I was actually like one of the people that we just brought on potentially like he's most likely going to join like our advisory board is a
Hmm.
lawyer. It's like he's like an intellectual property lawyer
Okay.
and he wants to help
Nice.
us advise us on this stuff. But I think the stance that we're taking is like we don't mind getting sued.
Yeah.
I think that especially I also feel like this is a good time to do this because I think everything with like the AI agents and all this stuff, like,
Right.
basically there's becoming more and more things that are starting to crawl the web on your behalf. And I
Yes.
feel like there's going to be a larger, essentially like cultural conversation about like what is and isn't allowed. And um, I honestly feel like it may become like impossible in some ways for these platforms to really stop this because
Yeah.
like if you have an agent that is logging on this platform on your behalf and like kind of like consuming some content,
Right.
it's going to be like essentially undetectable and like yeah, it's like there's going to be
In
some
the
interesting
background.
conversations about
Yeah.
how it's going to have to work. So
Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, if you, yeah. Uh, yeah, certainly. Yeah, another thing I was thinking about, I actually tried making this like a simple Android app myself for this purpose. But it's essentially the app is either every time you unlock your phone or every time you open an app, like you were saying, LinkedIn or YouTube, it kind of asks you to type in what you want to achieve from this session,
oh
and then
nice.
displays on the top right so that you don't forget it. It's like a constant reminder of what you're there for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what you were saying is kind of just an extension of that. And to make it even harder to stray away from that, you introduce like, 3 or 4 buttons. For LinkedIn, like for YouTube, maybe it'll be just a search bar.
Yeah.
That could be a really interesting solution. And so you're saying this would be a separate app altogether from the original app?
I think that's the thought. Again, like I think the really exciting thing about what we're trying to do, at least from my perspective, is that like, hey, we're really focused on this mission statement and this problem statement. But like I feel like, and that's like our North Star. That's like not gonna change. But like the way that we solve the problem or try to fulfill the mission is very flexible. Really, like we just care about like ultimately we just care about delivering like these feelings to people, right? Like these feelings of peace of mind, like they have agency of their life, like they're in control.
Right.
And so like the thought right now is that like a separate app per platform would be like kind of like a good way to offer people kind of like I said, like this thing that doesn't require all this configuration, that doesn't have to, like, that feels kind of like basically how the app should feel, or from our opinion.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I think it could change a lot in you, like especially as we navigate the gray area of like what's legally allowed and also like what's technically possible, because like most of these platforms don't have APIs,
right,
for their feed at least. So it could be like one app, like an analogous app per platform. It could be like one app that kind of tries to aggregate across your platforms. It could be like, you talked about like some like maybe something that just like goes across and blocks certain aspects of apps. Like that'd be super cool. Like I'd actually be very curious to see like how that's working on your phone, because like if we could create something that just like does that for all the apps and you just download one thing and just kind of like dumbifies all your apps, like that'd be sweet. And then there's other stuff too, which is just like I mean, like the idea that you talked about, like having the little like you before like wrapping, you're essentially wrapping the app, like visually wrapping it. Right? You like literally like, before you open it, you type your intention, and then you like display your intention. That's actually an idea that we've had as well. Like that was crossed our mind, was like, yo, what if we just had like something where you declare your intention and maybe like even tying that in with what you said about like this kind of like timer. So it's like you could have like you could declare your intention, and then you could have something like kind of watch over you and
exactly how long do you want to use this for, and then kind of counts down. Yeah.
I think that's a little bit, the AI kind of coach is a little bit less thematically aligned with what we want to do, because I think that one of our core hypotheses is that people can and should manage themselves. Like I think one of our core hypotheses is that people are capable of managing themselves and want to manage themselves. The thing is, we just need to get the technology out of the way. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to make people feel like they're like little kids, like babies that need like to these.
I see.
We assert that the problem is not the person. We assert that the problem is the platform. If that makes any sense.
Okay, and that's interesting. So if you get the distraction away, then there's okay. Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I'd be curious if like you think that's an accurate assessment, because like, do you like, do you think that's true, or at least with you?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the whole reason we have all of these like screen blocking apps is because over the past maybe 10 or 20 years, these platforms have become so much more distracting and kind of they've been getting more and more designed in a way to take away more of your time.
Right.
And so like even 20 years ago, before phones and when you had to like use a computer for the internet and stuff, I don't think you would really need many of these apps. Right. Because like probably, I mean, YouTube didn't exist. You probably just used, I don't know, maybe Gmail, video games probably. But I think the main thing is for those things, you have to physically kind of maybe make an effort to waste time. Whereas nowadays, you have to make an effort to not waste time.
It's kind of like a default state, right? It's like default is waste time, and like you have to
exactly.
Whereas like,
default is kind of like you have everything in the palm of your hand, and default is just scrolling. And then so you need these nudges to take you away from that. Whereas it used to be the other way around, like actively firing up the CPU, the monitor,
It's funny.
video games.
Yeah, like even hearing you talk about that, it's basically like becoming clear, like another way that we could express this, which is basically like, you had like the platforms, and then they added a layer of like this addictiveness and intention grabbing to it.
Yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of the solutions right now are just a layer on top of that.
On top of that,
And we're just kind of like, wait, hold on a minute. Should the solution just be to go back to the way that second layer?
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think many other companies are doing this.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're up to. And like again, like it's an audacious goal. Like we're gonna run. There's gonna be a lot of challenges. There's gonna be a lot of technical, legal, and just like a lot of risk around it. But I think we're willing to take it on. We kind of want to tackle it head on. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited. What are you looking for in technical talent?
That's a great question. But yes, I mean, in terms of technical talent, I think we're just looking for smart people that just want to be involved, because I think one of the approaches that we want to take is to use like a very experimental approach. Like we literally just want to launch like a crap ton of apps, like just like try everything, just launch them all as quickly as possible. And like that's why we're creating this home, which is more like we have this mission statement, we have this brand. Like it's really more of a brand and a movement and a community that we're building. And then that creates space for like, dude, if you wanted to just take the app that you created with the intention, little like wrapper, just like work with us and we'll just launch it under our brand and we'll just see if people like it. I mean, that's basically what we're trying to do. Is we're basically just trying to collect people who are passionate, who want to experiment, and then just throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what's.
That's really cool. Yeah. Kind of like a wide approach right now. Yeah. Really interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see where this goes. Because like I said, there's so many apps that do app blocking, website blocking, screen, tracking and stuff. But they don't, like you said, they don't go one step back and alter the platform itself. It's a really interesting approach. I'd say you should definitely look into apps like Screens and BlockB. There's even one called Stay Free, which also has this kind of block reels, shorts. I told her they have a few more things like maybe WhatsApp statuses, those kinds of things. And they have a bunch of other things. So yeah, if you would just want to kind of see what's already done and then work forward from there.
Have you paid for any of these applications?
I don't think I have. But now that you mentioned it, I wonder if you've heard of these physical blocking devices like Brick and Bloom.
It's honestly been surprising how, like, maybe probably because I'm attracting the right demographic, but like, I've had a bunch of these conversations, and like I ran into a surprisingly large number of people who actually have a brick.
Right.
So like they must be killing it.
So I don't have one yet. I recently came across an ad for something that works on Android as well. It's called Bloom. It's like a cheaper alternative, same features, iOS and Android. So I'm thinking about that. If I do buy that, that'll probably be the first purchase I make related to screen time. Actually, no, that's not true. I paid for something on Windows called Cold Turkey Blocker. Okay. It's a very powerful website and program blocker. This was during the pandemic, I think. Yes, I think that's the only thing I really paid money for. But yeah, I think many people are open to more like a one-time fee rather than a monthly subscription. Because like I mentioned, 1sec is very popular, but it's extremely expensive. I think the one-time fee is like $100, maybe $150, and monthly is maybe 15, 20, 25, something like that. So I think that's a bit steep for like a distraction tool, but
yeah, what you said, sorry, I was just on their website. You said 150?
Yeah, I think the like a one-time lifetime purchase might be like 100 or 150. Crazy. It's insane.
That's I'm looking right now. It has 1 million downloads. So
yeah, it's crazy. I think most people probably use the free version, which lets you do like one app, which I do as well. If you want more than that, you got to pay like a large amount.
Wait a minute, and it looks like the only thing this really does is it just gives you a pause.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
To be honest,
I don't know if it does more than that, but is that your experience? It just like it just forces you to wait 3 seconds?
so I use the Chrome extension, which even before going to the stripped down YouTube, it gives me like a 10-second pause. And I was surprised, and you'll be surprised as to how many times I just close the tab because I don't really feel like waiting. So it is effective. I'll give them that. But I mean, I'm not paying money to just set a 10-second timer.
Interesting. Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
funny because like, as we're thinking about like how we build out our app portfolio, like we do want to start simple, like just start delivering value as quickly as possible. So maybe like we could just create like a 1 sec alternative that's just way cheaper.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised. I mean, yeah, that's honestly seems super promising to me. Just like
Yeah.
it's literally exactly what they do, but just like don't charge
Half the price.
charge them like
Yeah.
$10, So
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think the only thing I really bought is the cold token, which is a great blocker, by the way, for Windows and Mac computer.
blocks specific applications like software.
I use it for websites. You can block like keywords, websites, have schedules. It's quite like, how do you say, unbypassable in that like I think you got to go into a terminal and type a bunch of commands if you want to unblock a block if you've set it to be locked.
So how do you like? Is there initially a password or like?
Yeah. So you have like 5 or 6 options. One of which is enter a password. One of which is enter like a wall of text. Another could be lock it for 2 hours. Lock it until I restart my computer. And while the block is active and it's locked, you can't really do anything to unlock it. Can't uninstall the program. You can't quit it from running from Task Manager, those kinds of things. It's quite powerful, and it's worked pretty well for like YouTube, Reddit, those kinds of things for me.
One of the first apps we want to release, I'm curious to get your opinion on it. It's kind of a publicity stunt.
Okay.
But the more I've been thinking about it, the more I actually kind of like it and kind of want to use this. So I'm curious what you think. We want to create an app called Boredom. And it's literally an app that does nothing. It's just an app you download. It's called Boredom.
Okay.
You open it, and when you basically you're shown like some like nice like visual, like some simple like animation and visual, like think like old screensaver or something that like theoretically helps you process your thoughts. But like like I said, it's kind of a publicity stunt. It's kind of like kind of like also like I'm visualizing a screen where it's just like almost as part of the marketing material, where it's like you could have Facebook or Instagram like on an icon and then Boredom right next to it. To like
interesting
make a conscious choice that maybe you could just choose Boredom instead.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm guessing like what will the description of the app say? Nothing. Like what will the screenshots say?
Oh, like what would the description be?
Yeah. Like, would you put a description or would you just leave it blank?
I think we would. I think we'd actually put a very long description. I think we'd talk about like why we built this.
Okay.
It would be like, and I think it would say something like, "Hey, we built an app that does nothing to make a statement about the modern world," and then say like, and then we suggest people like how to use it. Like either like use this either this is just like a publicity stunt and we're just doing this for attention. Or like, if you want, like consider using this as like an intentional choice. Like, it's kind of like the opposite of approach of 1sec where it's like, rather than stopping you, it's like giving you an alternative, which is like, like literally just like, we'll say like, consider putting this right next to Facebook or your social media and just like consider like choosing like Boredom sometimes, like instead of clicking on Facebook, just click on Boredom and just see how you feel.
That could be really cool. Definitely would get people talking. If you insert them in the same place that you'll be doing like Instagram. Not sure where other places you guys put ads, but yeah, I mean, get boredom. Those are really like those stand out when you're scrolling, and I think the people who are looking for these things will get intrigued by them. Like I understood pretty early on that what you guys were gunning for is like more boredom in people's lives, more time when, like, let's say you're waiting for the bus and it's coming in 5 minutes. You don't pull out your phone and get engaged for 5 minutes. Rather, you look around, you're alone with your thoughts, which people don't really do anymore. So I'm guessing this is what you're going to put in like the app description, maybe even in the ad. But I do think that the target audience will appreciate this. Probably if you do promise that something is on the way.
Yeah, like as long as we make it clear that like, hey, this is like the first,
right?
This is the first thing we're putting out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny, actually. The thing you just pointed out actually too is I actually thought of a very specific use case of boredom that I hadn't considered before, which is actually kind of a social dynamic. Which is like, let's say you're like commuting, like you're on a train, and like everyone's staring at their phone,
right?
And you would feel socially awkward if you're not staring at your phone. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a situation where like everyone's looking at the phone and you don't want to look like a weirdo that's like not staring at something. I actually just realized that could be an interesting use case that would actually be like a real thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like you pull it out not because you need to do something, but because you need to have it open, and so you just open boredom. That's interesting. For me, I wouldn't really do that because I suppose I don't know. In a way, it kind of feels like I feel proud of myself when I look at a lot of people around me on their phones, and I don't pull it out.
Okay.
But that it could be like if people do that, it could be a good use case.
Right. Okay. Well, let me rapid fire 3 apps because we were thinking about 3 apps.
Okay.
Launching, and I wanted you to tell me which one you would personally most want to use. So the first one is boredom. Second one is a simple app called Reflection. That's also something we feel is missing in the modern life.
Yeah.
And it's literally super simple as well. It's basically just like it's just basically like one question, like one large question, and like you can scroll through essentially like thought-provoking questions.
Okay.
And it's like super simple. The second one and the third one is well, actually there's 4 here. So
sure.
The next one is called Exit Plan, which no, I don't know if everyone experiences this problem, but I feel like sometimes when you get into like a doom scrolling mode, it's like actually very difficult to get yourself to stop. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you just like like put down your phone and then you just like pick it up like 5 minutes
Yeah.
later. So like the idea of the exit plan is essentially like it's gonna like gradually help you exit doom scrolling. So essentially imagine like content like TikTok, like reels, but like they become more and more spaced out or they become more and more boring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then it ends with like maybe you could even end with like a message. Like this sounds dumb, but like specific instructions that says like, put down your phone, turn it on, go to the other room and like, go for a walk. But like literally like an exit plan for yourself. And the fourth one is called Downshift, which is less about managing technology and it's more about like managing yourself. But it'd basically be like an app to help you change your mental state to be more calm. So like I know there's a lot of apps out there that like do meditation and whatnot, but this is more like specifically like, hey, we want to get you from you're anxious or you're stressed to like calm as quickly as possible. And essentially what it do is like you just open the app and it's like a metronome that's like going very fast.
Okay.
And then it just like gradually slows down. And it kind of like, and that's kind of the central premise. Obviously, there'd be some like visuals and some other things, but like essentially, like the whole purpose of the app is you open it and it tries to calm you down. So there's those 4 apps: boredom, reflection, the exit plan, and downshift. Which of those do you feel is most appealing to you?
I have to say exit plan, because one of the things that is very frustrating is, like you said, when I'm in the middle of doom scrolling and it's already been like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's kind of the sunk cost fallacy kicks in where it's already 12:30 a.m. I've already wasted an hour. There's no point of closing right now. I might as well waste another hour, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so if you had something to, like if it was a cold stop, like YouTube is blocked, like you might instantly try to bypass it. But if it was a gradual, I don't know, like you said, spacing out or gradual exit could be. I think that also works with calming people down because, if you take shorts for example, it's like watching it for 2 seconds, you scroll and instantly you're watching the next one. The whole attention span thing. If you slow it down, you're giving people more time to think about. Um, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing about whether they want to be doing what they're doing, and eventually, if you like shut it down with a peaceful ending screen, those kinds of things, it could be very effective, I think.
Do you see yourself using this? Like, do you feel like you would actually use it, or?
I think so. Because all the apps right now, it's like a 5 minute timer and you're locked out. But a gradual lockout could be quite interesting, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've been actually amped about this idea because it's come up in a conversation a lot, and also in my personal life. Like again, like it's this phenomenon where it's like sometimes like you really want to stop, but you just like yeah, it's like you just want a transition out, like something
Yeah.
that helps you. And I think
Right.
there's a lot of like really interesting things that we could do. Like we could
Uh-huh.
literally just like pull up TikTok like the public screen, like because there's a view of TikTok when you're not all logged in,
Yep.
and like it just has these reels, and you could just like literally just like show them and then like either put spacing between them or
Mm.
make the videos longer or hilariously like we could try to look for the videos that are like at the bottom of the algorithm, like the least
Uh-huh.
attention grabbing videos, so like literally
Put that on top.
just make them more boring over time. uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
all good points, definitely. Exit plan is cool for sure.
hell yeah, man. Cool.
Cool.
Well, I've
Cool.
kept you on the phone for almost an hour now, so appreciate the time. And
Of
yeah, do you
course.
have any other comments before we jump off?
Um, I was just curious as to how you manage your relationship with technology.
Oh, yeah, 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 for sure. Um, Yeah, I think funnily enough, actually working on this project has made me a lot more mindful because I'm like, oh shit, I gotta like embody like these values now.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple of things that I've done that have really like helped me. The first one I think is just not sleeping with my phone in the same room.
Mm,
Like I always put my phone charging in a different room.
right.
And I feel like that's helped immensely because I think one of the worst things is like waking up and just using your phone immediately. Like that's
Right.
just like
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that like, you should have a morning routine and you should like set like so for me it's actually for me, oddly enough, I feel like managing the technology has more about been managing myself, actually, like just like
Hmm.
my own routines and habits. Like, I'm big on sleep. Like, I'm like
Yeah.
kind of obsessed with sleep, and like for me, like I found that like there's like three anchors that I need to get in the morning. There's sunshine, um, movement, and
Mm,
food. So basically,
mm,
like having those anchors is and doing that within the first like 2 hours of
right.
the morning. Like I always go for
Yeah.
a walk and then I work out and then I eat. Has really and sometimes I meditate too, like in that process. So I feel like
Nice.
that has been a really anchoring thing. And then I don't know. I feel like there's also just kind of like a being more comfortable with just like letting things go. Like
Hmm.
essentially like yeah, I mean like if you have like a million unread emails, just like not stressing about it. Like
Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
used to stress about it, but now I'm
Yeah.
just like try to focus on what's important. Like try to.
Cool. Yeah.
I think it's more important to focus on what's important than to try to necessarily delete um, what's not. Which is also like kind of a big theme of like what we're trying to do. Which is like one of our principles is just like it's better to run towards something rather than to run away from something. Like it's a lot easier if
Mm,
you're trying to. Like a lot of times, I think a mistake that people make when they're trying to delete something out of their life is they don't have anything to replace it with. So what do
right.
you actually want to? For you, maybe it's like like instead of doom scrolling, maybe I'll just cold outreach a couple more LinkedIn people,
Right.
or like maybe I'll go for a walk. So there's that, and then um, yeah, and I think like a lot of it is just like I think self honesty. Like a lot of times when I'm doom scrolling, it's really I'm just trying to avoid something. Like I'm just trying to
Mm,
avoid a feeling or a thought.
true.
So like trying to like preemptively process those things, I feel like has been really helpful. Um, I don't know if that answers your question at all, but
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, yeah. There's some good techniques. Like my brother as well keeps his phone outside before he sleeps every night. Um, and that seems like a really good way to, yeah, like in the morning, I wake up and 20-30 minutes just like check notifications, maybe some sports scores. And it's like you've already kind of woken yourself up in the wrong manner, you know? So yeah, that could definitely help. But yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see where uh intention, right? That's the name of the
yeah,
company.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is. And yeah, actually,
right.
just one of a couple of things that just popped in my mind in terms of the
Yeah.
phone is like I do. I mean, obviously, I think everyone does this. I turn off notifications for like all my apps. I
Yeah.
have like the night light turn on automatically. Like, and there's like actually right now like bedtime mode. Like my screen goes black and white.
Black and white. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
And then not technology wise, but I've been wearing like blue light blocking glasses at night, and I
Oh,
feel like that's helped me a lot. So those are
nice.
like some simple tactical things I feel like. Um, and then like, oh, actually, no, hilarious. Sorry, I didn't even realize this because it's become so ingrained in me.
Uh
Actually,
huh.
this is, I feel like very important. But like on Android, yeah, you're Android, right? There's a
Yep.
feature called flip to like to SHH, like to quiet.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's actually been a game changer. Basically, like anytime that it detects my phone is being placed face down,
Okay.
um, it goes into do not disturb. So
Oh,
basically, my
wow.
phone is
Okay.
pretty much always in do not disturb except for when I actually look at it. Um,
Interesting.
and then last thing is I use this thing called Moi Launcher. So this is actually what my phone looks like when I open it.
Oh, wow.
It's literally there's nothing there.
Is
Um,
that it type here?
yeah. So it's basically like you can pin different apps if you want. The only thing I have pinned is
Okay.
Maps because that's like a safety concern if I'm driving and I need to get directions.
Nice. Yeah.
Otherwise, you just literally have to type. And so it's kind of like the
Oh,
search bar
that's
idea
amazing.
for your operating system, right?
Yeah. 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 That's really cool.
Uh,
That's a good addition.
so
I
yeah.
had used a similar launcher a couple of years ago. I think it was called Minimal Launcher.
Oh yeah.
Kind of did the same thing. No icons. You can choose your text, and then you can have like 5 apps, and then you got to search for the app. Um, very cool. Definitely very effective. Um, yeah, there's so many. You got to piece together so many different technologies to reach a state that should ideally be the default. You know, like you got to have a Chrome extension, a Windows program, an Android app, a launcher, just to use technology the way it should be used. And yeah, it's frustrating.
And I mean, I think that's hopefully the value that we can provide as a company, like as intention, is that hopefully like because we're building like this brand and this house and this mission, not only do we want to give people tools to think about this, like literally just like mental frameworks, but we want to, like you said, we want to make it easy. So hopefully like we can
Yeah.
be like the de facto thing that like, we're going to start with a collection of apps, but like hopefully like, eventually we can become like this thing that just like does it all, like, and I mean,
Hmm.
like, again, this is like big picture dreaming, but like,
Yeah.
dude, in like, 5, 10 years, if we could like literally like create the launcher that like does everything or almost
Maybe a
like
whole operating system.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
modified Android operating system,
Yeah.
even like a Windows extension that kind of like
Right.
at the core of it kind of like does all this stuff for you. And I think honestly, it's gonna tie, like, I think again, like AI is gonna like is becoming a thing, and I actually feel
Yeah.
like one of the things that excites me about AI is that like I feel like technology can suddenly has the capacity to be kind. I know that sounds kind
Hmm.
of weird, but like it's suddenly
Hmm.
like technology can meet humans where they are instead of like people meeting technology where it's at. And like
Cool.
some of that aspect is like yeah, technology like AI could help curate your feed for you, or it could help um yeah, just like make I think funnily enough, like ChatGPT is already kind of like an intention first interface, which is I think a hidden reason why a lot of people love ChatGPT that
Mm.
they probably don't realize. Like I actually wanted to
Right.
write an article about this because like I think that's interestingly enough, like because it's the new era, right? They haven't had time to put in all the distractions yet. Like
Uh,
unfortunately, I know that like 5 years from now, there's gonna be like probably like some like ChatGPT is gonna try to suck you in. It's gonna try to like
yeah,
take your time.
news feeds and this and that.
But right now, it's pretty pure. It's just
That's
a
true.
bar, right? So it doesn't do anything unless you tell it to.
Very true. That's very true.